You arrived in the UK again yesterday, and this time to do more than just these interviews with me. You are speaking at the One Young World event, Meghan, something you did for the first time back in 2014.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Oh, they were lucky to have her.
Of course, Harry. And you showed your green credentials by travelling to Manchester from London by train. I presume this is a vain attempt to counteract the terrible optics, Harry, of you travelling to a polo match in a private jet.
Yeah, but I drove an eco car thingy to the jet.
Whilst your kit and polo bag was ferried behind you in a separate gas guzzler.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least we won the match.
Yeah, we did our bit. We traveled on public transport, amidst the throngs of well-wishers and supporters. And but I have to admit, when I got to Euston Station in London, I was getting a bit apprehensive, I was getting a little bit concerned.
Euston, we have a problem.
Oh, worried about being so close to the common cretins and the unwashed hordes of day job workers.
Yeah, but it's okay, I braved it and I got through it. I was like, just tell yourself you've got guards, you've got, armed guards, so...
And I was there, Meghan. I'll always protect you.
Yes, like a knight in rusty armour.
Oh, she was very brave, very brave. One of her fans tried to touch her arm, but luckily she was able to beat her away with a back scratcher.
You refer to your fans, Meghan, but when you arrived at the Manchester Brightwater Hall, you were met by a 100-strong crowd, replete with uncouth placards offering unsolicited advice.
Yeah, saying, "Be gone," or words to that effect.
And there were boos, too.
Yeah, I know, but there are always going to be haters, right? So I just focus on the job at hand, on my mission.
To bring love and understanding to everyone in the world, except for the members of our immediate families.
Yes, Harry. And you'll be staying in Frogmore Cottage in Windsor.
Oh, it won't be for long, Pudding. You can exfoliate for a week when we get home.
Did you just call me Pudding?
Which is only a stone's throw from your brother William and his family, but apparently there are no plans to meet up.
Well, I would rather meet up with Will.i.am than Prince William, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but remember, Will.i.am said he's not going to invite us to any more parties after our appearance at the last one.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, he said we didn't add anything, Apparently you were too stupid to even hold a basic conversation with, and I was too fake for even his fakiest of fake friends.
Oh, that's fair.
In your speech in Manchester, Meghan, you managed to perform your normal trick of using lots of words to say absolutely nothing whatsoever. For example, you said, "We often hear people say, 'the time is now.' But I'm going to double down on that by saying, 'your time is now. The important work can't wait for tomorrow.' And this week, the world is watching as you cement your place in history by showcasing the good that you are doing today in the present moment as we embrace the moment of now to create a better tomorrow."
Riveting.
I think it was pretty clear what I was saying.
Yes, you appear to have gone to the Kamala Harris School of Profound Oratory.
Well, I've never seen them both in the same room. Have you?
No, Harry. But Meghan, your speech was packed full of these pointless platitudes. For instance, what does a better world consist of?
A world free from hate and prejudice, defined by inclusivity and tolerance, and where equity is key, and public discourse and political discourse is tailored towards helping and not harming.
And when the army is full of women and led by transgender generals.
And one where there's institutional insistences, that can ensure the outcome and hold it there once the progress has been achieved?
Which means, ironically, that we'd become conservatives at that point, trying to conserve the progress.
Can't believe I'm saying this, Harry, but very good point. But Meghan, how would you reply to those who say that your version of a better world is little more than a woke, ravished carbuncle on the fleshy thigh of history? Or as Felicity Fassett from Royal Wootton Bassett says, a communist hellhole bejeweled by plastic gemstones and enriched by a scent of honey, albeit destined to lead to the demise of all lured in by its toxic appeal?
Well, I've got my bigot meter here.
Oh, the Bigotron 2000.
The Alpha series. And yeah, readings are off the charts.
And that's it, you know? These people arguing against bringing about a better world. I mean, like, they can dress it up all they want in fancy words and undeniable logic, but
we know what it's really about.
yeah, you know, upholding a white supremacist narrative that has kept women and minorities down ever since the dawn of time.
Since time immemorial. But I can't remember exactly when that was.
Well, the world is very lucky that you can see this, Meghan, and that you go to such lengths to inform,
Instruct might be a better word.
everyone as to what a better world is.
Oh, she's all give.
Indeed, Harry, and she gave herself generous applause during the speech, referencing herself a staggering 54 times in 7 minutes, which is 7.71 times per minute, or roughly once every 7.78 seconds.
Which was quite restrained, I think.
Yeah, I want to use my life and my experiences as a model for other young people, particularly young girls, who get told, you know, you can't make it, you can't be this, you can't get there. And, you know, like you said, 2014, when I first made an appearance, I was just like that little actress from Suits. Now look at me. I mean, how did I get here, right?
I think we all know the answer to that one.
But it's almost like you never learn, Meghan. Your speech was very much me, and me again.
Me again, and me. Me again, and me.
Opening you up to the very fair criticism that you're so arrogant that you've literally lost the plot. You're no longer tethered to reality.
Me again, and me, who floats around no longer tethered to reality. Oh, that's going on the album.
Cara Kennedy, writing for The Spectator, claims that you're being frozen out of Hollywood, one hideous red carpet event at a time. I added the word hideous.
We've had a full work schedule, right? We're not being frozen out by anyone. We're just, not making ourselves available at the moment.
Yeah, we're not putting out in terms of hobnobbing. We're not showing any leg, if you will.
Yeah, then of course there's the issue of all the media attention that we bring with our fame and superstardom. And I think it's right that we pay heed to that fact. It's not fair that we just keep turning up to steal the show all the time.
There's nothing that we hate more than endless media attention. Sometimes I wish we could just be left alone. Still worshipped.
A modest request if I've ever heard one, Harry. And an LA insider has, according to the article, confirmed that one of the reasons you're being blackballed is due to your, I quote, capacity to share.
Well, ever since I've met Meghan, I always share. I share every single mental difficulty I've ever had with the world. I've stopped all that laughing and joking, freeing up time to properly concentrate on my mental health.
Yeah, his jolliness was getting in the way of progress.
Pesky. Although, back to your attention-grabbing ways, it isn't always a problem. In fact, it's often a boon to have a media-grabbing celebrity at a gathering. Something the host can show off about.
All right, so you're saying it's not a problem that we demand attention and that everyone wants to meet us?
Not necessarily, no.
Oh, great.
Although it's not necessarily a problem that people are dying to meet you, the problem arises when they finally meet you, and it's you two that they meet. You know, you're like a pair of vulgarly ostentatious Rubik's zirconias in a treasure chest of diamonds.
Diamonds are racist.
Or as the article's LA source describes you, a couple who lack the charisma, dedication, and charm needed to be A-list celebrities.
Oh, poppycock.
So dedication. Does anyone honestly believe that I lack dedication? I mean, my dedication levels are literally off the charts. I mean, do you realize what I've had to do to get to where I am today?
Poor girl.
Yes, we're all aware.
Do you know how many family members and husbands she's had to turn her back on to finally get in the public eye where she belongs?
Oh, no, fair point, Harry. Perhaps the lack of dedication accusation's slightly unfair, but lacking charisma and charm, you've got to admit, they got you there.
Hook, line and sinker.
So how do you reply to those who say that they've had ingrowing toenails with more charm than you, Meghan?
Well, I'd say that ingrowing toenails are...
Racist. Yes, I thought you might, Harry. Continuing on with the claim made by Cara Kennedy in The Spectator that you are being frozen out of Hollywood one event at a time, and particularly the quote by her LA source saying that your capacity to share is one of the main reasons for this. Do you think that this ambiguous phrase could also refer to your loose-lipped nature?
You tell me one time where we've been loose-lipped.
Well, obviously, I can't dignify that with a response, Harry. But Meghan, do you think that perhaps your blabbermouth personas might be dissuading invitors from including you on a list of their invitees?
Well, I can tell you one thing. There's a lot more that I haven't said than I have said, okay? I'm literally stuffed to the brim with things that I haven't said.
Like a belly full of Skittles.
You could write a series of books about the things I haven't said.
And we plan to.
Yes, well, it's a mystery to me why you two are so unpopular. Yet, Meghan, it must be asked, how can you have so much to say when you lived as a member of the royal family for so little time?
Oh, that's when you need to be a little bit more flexible.
You know, expressing yourself fully in a written form, it's like an opera on the page.
Yes, we've seen a performance of your sounds.
And when you're expressing yourself holistically, you're no longer inhibiting yourself within the white supremacist substructure.
Proper expression means letting go of the dogmatic boundary between reality and fiction.
See? I told you, if you practiced, you'd be able to say it.
I almost choked on dogmatic.
You know, what's happened to me and my experiences will always be my truth. Okay? Right? And like, my truth and my story might not ascribe to the black and white nature of logic and the English language. And, you know, a language built on racism.
And which feeds on hate.
Oh, wow. You even learned some of the slogan cards.
I had no idea whether it was appropriate or not. I just went with it. I'm glad I did.
You know, you've really got to remove certain criteria as to the validity of your statements if you truly want to express the poetry of being and of oneness and of what it was really like for me and my truth.
Oh, I see. So you're going for stories and allegations that are no longer sullied by the requirements of truthfulness, no longer held down by the beasts of honesty.
No longer chewing on the Skittles of credibility.
But how do you reply to those who say you can't just make stuff up to sell books and remain relevant?
I'd say that we believe in inclusivity in all circumstances. So when you're writing a biography, you shouldn't exclude certain things. just because they didn't happen.
There have been reports, Harry, that you've asked to make late-in-the-day refinements to your upcoming book.
A few tweaks.
One may assume that the reason for this has been influenced by your first-hand witnessing of the outpouring of support for the monarchy, perhaps even because of the fragile truce that was struck between you and your family in the aftermath of the death of Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh, no, nothing to do with that. I just randomly remembered a few things about stuff a few months later.
We're not even sure if, we can change it, because it might not be possible.
Yeah, it's because they gave us a whole load of moolah in advance, so they want to keep all the juicy bits in.
Well, of course.
And besides, it was only a fragile truce. So, to be perfectly honest, they couldn't have been rude to me if they tried. But, gotta rise above it, so smiley, smiley.
That's very big of you.
My Meghan is bigger than an Indonesian rat, and they're massive.
But it was only a tentative ceasefire, and we're now getting ready to lob some grenades back over the castle walls.
There'll be no reconciliation with my father or my brother until things get set straight and I get what's coming to me. 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 Get what's coming to me.
Shh. Well, there may be a reciprocal in this ultimately sad but endlessly fascinating dynamic. Much has been and is being written about you two, particularly you, Meghan.
Lies.
Allegedly. The things they say, allegedly. The games they play, allegedly.
Yeah, it's me for vendetta. Yeah. But I can tell you one thing about this whole melodrama, There's an awful lot of projection going on.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that, Meghan.
And that's why me and Harry, we've got to be strong, We got to make sure, we're by each other's side.
There's no need to hide your pride, 'cause I'll always be by your side.
It's funny, Harry, because when you sang a Mariah Carey song before, it was an impression of her voice. Yet when you sing one of your songs, it's your voice.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, sing Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond.
Sweet Caroline,
Do, do, do.
good times never seem so good.
Right, now sing Get What's Coming to Me.
Get what's coming to me. Get what's coming to me. Get what's coming to me. Get what's coming to me.
Yeah, can you imagine living with this?
Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching you, touching me.
Do, do, do.
Sweet Caroline,
Do, do, do.
good times never seem so good.
With the upcoming release of your wholly accurate and honest account of your life so far, Harry, in which you wish to share what you've learned, which in itself is an ironic mix of the comedic and the grotesque, I thought that we'd explore some of the allegations that have been levelled against you.
Yeah, it's getting hard to keep up. It's like I'm living in their head, rent-free.
Excellent. Amazing, actually.
For instance, Meghan, it's been reported that you moaned about public engagements and walkabouts, saying, "I can't believe we're not getting paid for this."
Well, no, that's not strictly true.
What she actually said was, I can't believe that I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah, but it's not because of greed, though.
No, not like the jewellery that you were loaned but wanted to keep when you left.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was greed.
And there's so much that needs to be done, right? And it's what you see when you walk around these places, And I got to be honest, I've got my own ideas, I know how to fix things, but to facilitate them, I need money.
The moolah.
Indeed.
So I'm walking around and I'm waving and I'm shaking hands and I'm seeing the desolation of the poor and the colonial opulence of the rich. And, I'm doing nothing. I'm not earning anything. I'm earning nothing. So I just become part of the problem, And, I'm watching injustice, and I'm witnessing people richer than me living in splendor, and that really gets to me. That really gets to me. I just found it, hard to believe that they expected me to just donate my time, like I'm some kind of worker bee in a hive mind.
Oh, you're very much a free thinker, Meghan, bursting with original thoughts and never simply pandering to whatever sulfuric nonsense the wokano may spew.
She is such a free thinker that sometimes nobody else in the world has got any idea what she's on about.
Further allegations of atrocious behaviour reported by staff members have been articulated recently, Meghan, including incidences where you reduced staff members to tears. In fact, staff that did work for you have called themselves the Sussex Survivors Club and have referred to you, Meghan, as and I quote, a narcissistic sociopath.
Oh, that's actually an improvement, because I heard psychopath.
There was certainly a lot of entrenched racism in the royal household, It was more covert than overt, right? Like more implicit than explicit.
Yeah, more imagined than real.
So me, a person of color, a woman of color, who had achieved her own career and had fame in her own right.
Yes, the word fame being used in the loosest possible extent there.
So I had to hold my own, right? Against the unbending, hostile reception of the staff members who didn't think they should have to do as they're told by someone like me.
Thank God my Megsy didn't back down.
Meghan, and don't refer to me with ownership.
Yes, but that phrase there, do as they're told, do you not think that might be part of the problem, Meghan? That although officially staff, it is not the royal way to treat them like lowly serfs. Yet you, Meghan, who are roughly on par with Beatrice and Eugenie, thought she could speak to them like servant trash.
I'm sorry, when exactly did I speak to them like trash?
Well, there are even reports of the Queen herself reprimanding you after she walked in on you berating kitchen staff, explaining to you that that's not the way things are done here.
Yeah, but they were messing up Meghan's vegan menu. And if you've ever tasted a dodgy nut roast, you know exactly what kind of pressure she was under.
Yes, well, vegan food certainly brings out the worst in me.
Look, people like me need to get things done, right? So I can't be being held back by insolent and snobbish staff who think that they can resist my requests.
Quite right.
Yeah, and it's not my job to coddle people who get upset about it.
Yes, well, that's actually a direct quote attributed to you by staff. Yet I am quite confused because I thought that was precisely the reason for your existence. I mean, being Mrs. Inclusive Sensitivity and the like, harping on about feelings and emotions.
Yes, but that's more her own feelings and emotions. She's certainly sensitive to them.
What can I say? I'm delicate.
Right, so apart from being concerned with your own emotional health whilst being utterly insensitive to the emotional health of others, you are even reported to have said to a member of staff, and this is before you were married, that, and I quote, "You know I'm going to be your boss one day, don't you?"
That didn't age well.
Returning to your upcoming book, Harry, last year you declared that you'll be writing it not as the prince you were born, but as the man you've become. Now, why on earth did you think that would be a good idea?
Oh, it was just, my idea. It came to me while I was just kicking back in the beautiful surrounds of some mansion, thinking about how unfair my life was. And I thought, you should be writing about this, as the man you've become. Now you're finally properly concentrating on your mental health.
The problem is, of course, that it was only your princely status that made you interesting.
Well, not now that I'm here. I make Harry interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, but is it not a concern to you that such interest may be as short-lived as the foam on a cappuccino, forcing you then to fall back onto your capacities, your intelligence, your humour, your charm?
Yeah, but that's not a problem, right? Because I've always been judged on those things, you know? I mean, it's those things that got me here, you know, where I am today, on the cusp of the forefront of a new tomorrow.
Mind-boggling. But how do you reply to those who say that although you tried, your inability to secure titles and privileges without doing the duties nor upholding the royal standards means that inevitably and ultimately you will be shifted down to your skill level?
Great. That's what we want.
No, H. We want to go up.
Oh, up, down, left, north. It's all the same, isn't it? This incredible thing we call life.
And no, up is better in this context. You know, shifted up to our skill level.
Well, of course, I agree with you, Meghan, even if it completely contradicts what I've just said, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Oh, that's it, Harry. Stand your ground.
We're confident that we're going to rise up to my natural talent level, you know? But before we can embark on that journey, on that serious journey of self-discovery, we need to escape our royal personas, you know, and just focus on being just us, you know, just us.
Oh, I see. You'll be relinquishing your royal titles then.
Oh, no. Ironically enough, the real Harry is, you know, defined very much by being a prince.
Right, but I thought the whole point of the book was to write it not as the prince you were born, but as the man you'd become.
You're confused, aren't you? No, don't worry. I don't blame you. You know, I used to be as well. Seems like a contradiction, doesn't it? But luckily, Meghan's explained to me how we need to go our own way and be free and unattached, but at the same time, piggyback off of our royal connections.
Right, but why would the real Meghan identify with being royal, considering you've only been connected to the family for a couple of years out of the somewhere between 41 and 46 that you've been alive?
Yeah, we asked for a mediator between us and my father.
And I really don't see what's wrong about bringing somebody in, you know, as a unifier between two parties.
Like the cream between two biscuit halves of an Oreo.
Profound, Harry. Although you must admit it was a ludicrous suggestion insofar as they were obviously never going to go for it.
Yeah, right? Because they won't embrace, like, modern solutions to age-old problems.
I even heard that Camilla choked on her tea.
That's a shame. But the best way to prevent future, you know, family squabbles is to set up, you know, safe space parameters and proper accountability for what people say, you know? Because
words have feelings.
No, because words have consequences, you know? And can cause seriously hurt feelings, right?
Oh, that's it, yeah. I knew that words and feelings were connected somehow. I just wasn't sure exactly how.
Yeah, which kind of makes me wonder why you spoke in the first place.
Yeah, right. My mistake.
Well, I have a comment here from a fraudster with no gender, whose favourite song is The Great Pretender, who asks, what Disneyfied version of reality are they living in, thinking that Prince Charles or Prince William were ever going to air their grievances in front of a mediator who's probably a pansexual spiritual herbalist guidance counsellor with a ponytail and a name tag with his preferred pronouns and a name like Kevin spelt with a C.
They can leave Kevin out of this.
Yeah, no, he's a really great guy, and he really helped me deal with Harry's annoying habits.
Oh, what did he suggest?
Spend less time with him.
It's simple but effective.
It works.
And now, when we do see each other, all of those previously annoying things are like little love muffins that Meghan finds so endearing. She loves them all now, like when I break into song. Get what's coming to me, get what's coming to me, get what's coming to me, get what's coming to me.
Remember, Harry, the rarer, the better.
Back to Kevin.
Oh yeah, Kevin's a great guy, great guy. He really helped me out too when I was starting to worry that Meghan was completely taking me over.
Oh, what did he say?
Just give in and go with it.
Right, going back to the group of Palace aides who have named themselves the Sussex Survivors Club. In Extracts of Courtiers, The Hidden Power Behind the Crown by Valentine Lowe, it describes deteriorating relationships with a succession of decent people who believed in Meghan and who would have done anything to help the couple succeed.
Yeah, that's very easy to say, after the fact.
Some recollections may vary.
But all we ever wanted to do was make a success of our roles in the monarchy, and just be happy raising our family and, but it just wasn't possible, Some people made sure that was not possible.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that because you are flatly contradicted on that specific point.
Look, I think everyone needs to just calm down and eat some fruit.
I don't know how that point is going to be contradictable.
Oh no, sweetie. Contradictable is not a word, my dumpling.
Actually, it is.
Please don't contradict me.
What the staff say is, Meghan, allegedly.
Allegedly. The things they say, allegedly. The games they play, allegedly.
That the mistake they made was believing that you wanted to be happy in the first place.
That doesn't even make sense.
What are they? Dummies? Idiots. Cognitively compared. I think they need to get QI tests.
Well, what they claim is that the institution itself was always going to be judged on Meghan's happiness. They claim that you wanted to be rejected and that you were obsessed with this narrative from the beginning.
Ridiculous.
Absurd.
Preposterous.
Although... ridiculous. Absurd. Preposterous.
We were undermined, shortchanged, mocked, probably, plotted against, It was a very difficult time. Very difficult time.
Well, I'll admit, Meghan, when I first saw you get married, I was convinced that the only future you saw, the only one you were interested in, was the one where you were racially abused by the royal family, and that you were determined to get there one way or another.
I can't believe you'd think that.
Yes, but that was only before I got to know you and learned what a kind, humble person you are. Remember, I'm as communist as they come. I wouldn't get any work otherwise.
Ah, good, good.
The bottom line is, they fed me on scraps, right? They didn't want me rising above every other member of the royal family by being a bright, shining light. They thought that we should just be living on the basics, right? Like, don't worry, all they need is the bare necessities.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife.
Yeah, man.
Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees. Make some honey just for me. If you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants, then maybe try a few.
You eat ants?
You better believe it, kid. The bare necessities of life will come to you.
Look, don't ask me how it's done, but apparently you can click a like button or something, even a subscribe button. Rumour has it there's a notification bell and a sharing option. Look, I got no idea how to do it, but if you can work it out, I'd really appreciate it.